How are you, Bryan Cox? It's great to see you.
I'm good, Colin. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing fine. I want to start with a couple of non-football things.
Okay.
Drew Brees is a guy that we all admired, and then he came off as tone deaf, in my opinion. And now most players publicly have said, I got his back. Are you concerned that there will be, over the course of a season, if New Orleans struggles, winning solves a lot of problems, are you worried about Drew Brees in that locker room going forward, Bryan?
No. A couple reasons for that. One, I think that he has enough currency built up in the community, if you will. He donated $5 million of his own dollars to Katrina when it happened. I happen to know Drew a little bit, and I think he's an awfully fine guy. He made a horrendous comment, but I don't think it taints his legacy. He's apologized for it. And I think if you know anything about Drew, you know that he and his wife have spoke about their actions, speaking louder than their words. He'll do the work to correct this. And when he made the statement, I was a little down on him because I felt like, my great-grandfather fought in World War II, so he didn't come home to a hero's welcome. So my view of how I view it, as opposed to how you view it, is different. But the guy's built up some currency, so I give him a pass on it. I think the message that Shaq gave to the team, don't let anybody from outside come and tear the team apart. And I think that if they can do that, if they can stay together, because he's come out since and apologized, and the people in the locker room know his heart, I think they'll be fine.
Let's go to current players. I think Tua is the best quarterback in this draft. There is a medical issue. But I have this feeling, Bryan, that he's going to look really good after about 2 weeks of practice. And Miami's an event star town. And people are going to say, we want Tua to play. Nothing against Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you were on that coaching staff, would you cave to his talent and cave to what's going to be an obvious popular pick? Or would you just sit him? How would you manage this with Tua?
Well, there are two schools of thoughts. You could go the Peyton Manning way and put him in the game from day one and let him start and get beat up, and some people have confidence in those situations. Or you could say, because the guy's been injured, we're going to take our time. We're probably not vying for a Super Bowl this year. We're going to be a better team. We're going to improve. We're going to be young. Let's sit him a little bit. Let's let Fitzpatrick go and play. Let's make sure he's healthy, and then we'll make a decision as to when we insert him as our starter.
Yeah. Another young quarterback, Baker Mayfield. I've been tough on him. I think quarterback is unique and maturity is paramount to success. If he struggles this year, that means he'll have struggled with Hugh Jackson, he'll have struggled with Freddie Kitchens, and he'll have struggled with Kevin Stefanski. And I don't think ownership is going to blame the coach for the third straight time. I think it's a make or break year for Baker. Do you?
No. First of all, having coached in Cleveland, you have to understand the dynamics. When you get to October and November, you better have a good run game, and you better be able to play defense. They're playing Baltimore, they're playing Pittsburgh, and they're playing Cincinnati. They're on par with Cincinnati. They're probably a step below Pittsburgh, and Baltimore's the cream of the crop in the division. So when you look at bringing Roethlisberger back from injury, when you look at that division, I mean, he's playing against some really good defenses. So a quarterback doesn't win or lose by himself. They need to develop the running game. They need to develop their defense. And by all accounts, head coach Kevin Stefanski is a leader in the locker room, and that may be the thing that they need for Baker and that team as a whole to take the next step.
Now let's talk about somebody I haven't seen play, Jarrett Stidham. You have connections to the Patriots. I think it's a quarterback weapons league, and they don't have a lot in that department. I don't think they look the same this year. What do you think?
I think differently. If you go back and look, some years ago when Matt Castle came off the bench when Brady got hurt and he led them to the playoffs, this will be the same type season. They won't be Super Bowl contenders. They got a battle with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East for the division title, which is going to be difficult because Buffalo's an up-and-coming team. The New York Jets will be improved, but Bill doesn't do this, meaning get rid of Tom Brady, if he doesn't have a plan in place. And for him to not draft a quarterback, we'll say he's very comfortable with who he has in this room.
We have seen all sorts. You've always been an outspoken person. We've seen some incredible protests. 99.9% have been peaceful. We are seeing legislative changes. As a black man in America who is a public figure, Brian, how does it land for you? What experience are you going through the last couple of weeks?
I was terribly hurt with George Floyd's death. But here's what I say. I don't want to speak to the left, to the far left. I don't want to speak to the far right. I want to speak to the middle of America on both sides, black and white. You know, you got to say, one, where's God in it? And secondly, you have to say, for those people in the middle, how can we enact change? How can we come together and love each other as Christ loved us? And so whenever we go through one of these things, the first thing I always think about from my pastor is, where is Christ in it? And, you know, when the anger goes away, what are you going to do? It's conversations that I've had to have with my son. It's conversations that my dad had with me. Being black in America is difficult. But we have to be careful not to bash white people, especially because this is the first time that we've seen some of these individual killings where we've had as many, if not more, white people protesting. So they're sick and tired too. So now all I'm saying is, how can we come together and make sure that this stops happening? And for me, you know, we can't be so angry that we run people away who are trying to help, whether it be white, black, Jewish, whatever it may be. I just think that the center of this country, the people that have a heart, the people that can look at that and say that's a crime, regardless of if you white or if you black, I'd like to see the middle of the country come together.
Brian, I love having you on the show. I love your perspective. We may disagree on Baker Mayfield, but not much else. Good seeing you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Colin.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.